Hello everyone, Lambo here with another Subgoal video. This time I'm gonna explain how to defend the first two adepts from Protoss properly. I played 3 games with my man Fear, so shoutouts to him for helping me real quick. And yeah, let's get right into it. So this first game is gonna be against a very standard. The super normal opening, I'm also playing very standard. This is how you defend it if you play a normal hatch gas pool opening, hatch gas pool, and then at 30 supply you get the third hatchery. So this is gonna be one of the most standard scenarios in this game, where he just goes 20 Nexus, 20 Cybercore, and then instead of only chrono boosting one adept to get the scout in, he will chrono boost twice. And he will try to get damage done with the adepts. Very often it got asked in my chat how to defend this properly without losing too many drones, so here's the deal. This is my vision right now. I can see that there's no warp gate research, but that doesn't really matter. They can also play double adept chrono boost with early warp gate and then into some Twilight Council build. All I see so far is one chrono boost, which is very standard. In this game, I went for 4 Zerglings as soon as my pool was done. 2 from my main and 2 from my natural. You can run by 2 of them, which is actually one of the ways to deal with this. But I'm going to talk about this in the next replay. In this case, I'm just doing 4 to deny this probe from potentially pylon blocking my third base. If you want to make 2, that's also fine. If you want to make 2 though, it can potentially pylon block your third base because two Zerglings together with the drone attacking the pylon will not out DPS the pylon building, which means you need to be able to play with this as your third base as well, which is fine. Like, this is a fine third base to take too. Since I'm also not gonna do any runbys, I will scout for proxies here with this one Zergling. It's just for a proxy Stargate, just in case. You don't have to do this. But I suggest, I think it's a good idea, usually. So now, you can see where I'm looking right now. This 230 is when the first adept pops with the chrono boost. And now, we're watching out for a second chrono boost. Note, this second chrono boost, I can see it before my queens are popping. This is a very important part of this defense. So now I'm just gonna go into my vision real quick. I see the second chrono boost. I put my third hatch down at 30 supply. And I will put a creep tumor first with a 25 energy from the queen and the natural, and inject from the main base. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the creep tumor here, and we're gonna move down the queen from the main and get a third queen at 30 supply. So right now, I'm gonna get a third queen. And the reason this creep tumor is so important is that it allows my queens to stutter step back from further forward, so I can start attacking the adepts earlier, which usually makes it so the Protosses cannot walk into the natural while shading into the main base. Because if they would, they lose too much HP on the adept and they will lose them for free no matter where they decide to go. That is the reason I'm going for a creep tumor first here. If I would not have seen this chrono boost, so if there was no second chrono boost here, instead, let's say he chrono boosts his Nexus, I would put an inject first, and I would make my third queen at the natural at 32 supply. Remember, I still have this link scouting for proxies, so right now I have 3 Zerglings. So eyes on this, I see this adept is leaving the base around 250. That is at least 6 seconds earlier than it is usually if they only have 1 chrono boost, which these 6 seconds make a big difference. The difference between me not going for this creep tumor and not making a third queen that early and not pulling one of my queens from the main into the natural. So as soon as I see these 2 links and the second adept, and not before I see the second adept, I produce 4 Zerglings. This could also still be a stalker sometimes. There is no need to make the 4 Zerglings otherwise. But as soon as I see the second adept, what happens is I fly into the main with the Overlord. Very often the third unit will be a stalker, but you still need to scout. In this case, I would understand it if you even just leave your Overlord here, because the warp gate research started so late that it is almost guaranteed Stargate follow-up. And DT drop would need gateway research a bit earlier. So yeah, scout after the second adept. And then this is where the creep tumor comes in handy. I can start attacking from here instead of from here, because this is usually where the edge of the creep is. And I I threaten, at the start of the shade, I threaten to attack the Adepts. So you can see he needs to walk back, right? He cannot continue walking. And as soon as he takes a step back, I will follow the shades with the Zerglings I made. Put a Creep Tumor and a second Creep Tumor and an Inject. And let's say he shaded in straight here. I would have attacked with my Zerglings. Usually run away with the drones. They will almost always go into a corner like this. If they just go straight into the middle, you can attack with the drones for a second until the links arrive and then back off. So in this case, always moving away your drones, as long as you don't take any damage, is way better than losing the drones. In this case, he got into a good position. I should have pulled away around 3 drones a bit earlier. Always focus fire 1 adept first with the queens, the one that you focus fired at the natural 2. And in this case, I lost a drone here because I didn't pay attention, even 2. These should have been pulled back. And by now I killed 1 adept, and there's 2 queens here.
Complete.
So the rush is defended. I lost 2 drones, which is fine, because I didn't lose too many Zerglings. And you can do the same without losing any drones. So now he shoots this, we make it into a spore. You have quite a decent reaction time. If you have a decent reaction time, you should always be able to pull this off. So the rush is pretty much defended, and now we have 5 links, even 6 with this one, because we lost 2 links. Sometimes if they only focus fire drones, let's say if they go in here, and we surround them with the drones and then attack with the Zerglings, you will lose 2 to 3 drones, but you will have all 8 Zerglings alive. And there is a big advantage if you have the 8 Zerglings. A is that you don't need to make them later on, and it's B, it's a bit harder to move out with the Adepts to take a 3rd base. And then also very important, if you see that there's no 3rd gateway unit, which I can check right now, if there is no 3rd gateway unit, and you see it's an Oracle first with the Overlord, and the Oracle leaves, you can attack this Adept with the Zerglings. I can do that now anyways, because it's a Phoenix first, and this is not the best wall, but you can force him pretty much to full wall and usually even kill the Adept. Usually what will happen is they shade behind the wall and put a wall behind the Adept, and usually they need to finish it if the Oracle left the base. Or the Oracle will come down here if it's a 2nd unit and try to waste energy, which is also good for you. So there's a lot of advantages, even if you lose 2 to 3 drones. I think it's fine as long as you don't lose all the Zerglings too. Also losing 8 Zerglings, you can lose the Zerglings. Like if they ever actually go in towards your natural, they will always 100% die, or if they ever shade in. So yeah, I think this is a fine position, and this is how you defend it without laying runby. So now this is the 2nd example where he's gonna do the exact same thing, but this time I'm gonna go for a 2-ling runby. What I mean with a 2-ling runby is you go for 4 Zerglings, and you run the first 2 just past the probe. If the probe, so the probe usually patrols around here, right? So, and then the Zerglings from the natural come here first. The 16 hatch opening, by the way, so I make those 4 Zerglings at the exact same time. Those 2 Zerglings come in first, and usually the probe sticks around here to check if you're actually building a 3rd base or not. But if the probe was to just go home, I would try to separate the links from the probe, so either I go here or here. The probe can even see that, I don't really care. And if the probe follows the Zerglings, I will just go with my next 2 Zerglings too in an adder path. And then what the Overlord will do is it will check where the Adept shade goes towards. So we can always guaranteed get a runby. But this will require some multitasking later on once you're in the base of the Protoss. So if you don't feel comfortable with this, and if you don't have the build order down 100%, like if you because of it forget an Overlord or such things, just do what I did in the first game, and that's also fine. So yeah, right now I'm going here, and I saw that the Adept shaded here, so I changed my link path. Instead of going here, I changed my link path to go here. So we avoid this shade. And now you will see if I straight go through, my links will arrive before this Adept pops out. By the way, these maps that I chose to do this builds on are the shortest maps from natural to natural distance, very, very short maps. So I go in with the links, I kind of waited there for a bit. Usually what will happen in almost all the cases, by the way, I saw a 2nd chrono boost and went Creep Tumor first, did the same thing, 3rd queen in the main, pulled down my queens. What usually will happen almost always is that the Protoss will chase these 2 links, you will run into the main, and he will chase those links. But I told him to not do that, just so you can see again, just so you can see the defense again. I wait until I see it shades forward to start the additional Zerglings, and you will see this now. So again, the same setup. Since he shaded away here, I have a long time to start killing probes, so I go in here first because it's not a big way around. I force those probes to attack, and I'll go into the main and do similar stuff and walk around. Also, the advantage of this is, especially if he shades out, no matter if he shades out or in, it doesn't really matter. You get the scout without having to commit the overlord in. This 30 unit can always still be a stalker. So yeah, in this case, I just try to intercept the adepts again. I attack those here with 2 Zerglings because I almost killed them already. He shades in, we defended the adepts without losing anything. On Cerulean Fall it's a bit easier because you can put the queens like towards a corner here, and then the adepts can't really go into your base very easily. Like usually I would put my queens here and here and just threaten to attack with the Zerglings, and the Protoss will shade in and go back with the adepts. I will follow the shade, always follow the shade with the links. I will follow the shade, and usually the adepts will just cancel the shade and then go back home, and the game is rather even. But I feel rather good about that too, just because I got the free scout. He used 2 Chronos on his adept, but we at the same time used the creep. I wrote GG. I just wanted to show the early game. That's why I just left straight after the defense. So yeah. That is again against a very standard opening. Then there is another opening that is a lot less common. That pretty much is the Protoss making 2 gateways and a Cybercore before the Nexus. So this will be the earliest double adept YOLO in. There's also a third build, which is Cybercore before Nexus. It is most commonly used combined with a Pylon Scout early on from Protoss when they try to deny this base, so they can have 2 adepts very early against when you're forced to take this base as your natural, which you defend pretty similar to the one that I'm about to show you right here. So against this one I make 10 Zerglings, and one of the things I also change is that I pull all drones out of gas. Usually I always keep 1 drone in gas, so I can reactively make a lair in case it's a DT opening or a Robo or any Robo or Twilight opening. But in this case, because I see that it is 2 gateways and Cybercore before Nexus, I will pull all 3 drones off gas after I mine enough for the Zergling speed. So like right now I will see it, and you're gonna see me pull all 3 drones off gas. And once again I will go for the 30 hatch on a third. I can see that there's a Nexus. There's also one base follow-ups where you don't need a third. In that case I would just get 4 queens or 3 queens and a third hatch a bit later. And yeah, against this I make 10 links, and you make those right away. Like you can see that it's 2 adepts right away, so you make the 10 links. Pretty much you make the links constantly. I'm just gonna show this for a second. Because usually you make 4 links, or 2, usually you make 4 links, and once you see the second adept come out towards your base, you make 4 extra ones, or you make 2 first, and then you make 6 extra ones. Actually in this game, also something that I forgot to mention. Hold on for a second. Because there was no probe scout, with this build you don't probe scout. Because there was no probe scout, I only made 2 links, and I delayed this overlord for 1 extra drone. Here you're gonna see it here. Usually with 16 hatch you make a 20 overlord. But you only need this overlord at 20 if you're planning on making 4 Zerglings. Because if you want to make 4 Zerglings right as the pool finishes, you need both the larva. In this case, since there is no probe scout, I only need 2 Zerglings, which are right here, and I can make the overlord now. It doesn't supply lock you, it's more economic. It is better if you don't plan on making 4 Zerglings. Usually against no scout, also something to mention is quite often it can be a proxy Stargate, so either you should scout for proxies, or against the normal, this is not a normal opening, but there's also normal openings without a scout. You can send your first 2 units straight across the map and he can't see where they're coming from, and you can just run them by right away to see if there's a lack of second pylon. That's pretty important. So yeah, I'm just constantly making Zerglings now. Usually it would be 1 drone and 4 extra Zerglings, because usually if you make 4 links right away. And what happens here is I keep this queen in the main base, in the mineral line, and I follow the shade. Again, I threaten to attack the Adepts with the Zerglings, so they can't just walk in here. You see this move with the Zergling, it's very important. Now you will shade in between my bases. You just run away with the drones pretty much. No need to engage with the Zerglings. The queens will do damage over time. This queen is a mistake, obviously, that it's away. Against this opening, I believe you can lose 4 to 5 drones. If he commits the first 4 Adepts especially, you can lose quite a bit and be fine. Because this is a 1 gas build, so they do not have any big follow-up on this. So in this case, he shaded 2 in here, and then he's going to shade 2 in after. This also applies against Adept all-ins, but just make sure to run away your drones whenever it's in a situation where you should run away, like right now. You're gonna lose. Okay, so I preemptively make a spore here. I follow the shade, and now the Zergling speed kicks in. We kill these 4 Adepts. We lost some mining time. We lost 2 drones, but he lost 4 Adepts. And this was a 1 gas opening. Now, just now his Nexus is finished, and our 3rd base is about to finish up. So this is a good spot for us. It's not like he can have DTs right now or anything. You don't need to be too worried. We can send in the Overlord after these units. So yeah, we're in a... I just macroed a bit out of it so you can see how big the lead really is after this opening. So yeah, also the reason this opening isn't that common is simply because if you defend it well, you're ahead almost always. Oops, that was not on purpose. I pressed it again. I wanted to press pause before the game ended. So right now we're already ahead in workers. Usually you overtake Protoss a little bit later. And this target isn't even done yet. And we can, like, the next drones of Lyra can all be free drones. We even have these Zerglings to check if the Adepts are moving out. Adepts without glaives are not scary at all. Yeah. So I hope that helps. Just to summarize again, against the normal 2 Adept, you want to have 2 queens at the front shooting as early as possible. You threaten with the Zerglings, or you kind of block them out, pretty much. Always follow the shade. If they walk in, like if they just walk in against this fake move from the Zerglings, you can attack for a second and then also follow the shade. They will walk through here, and then your Zerglings just come to the natural. You walk away the drones. The queens keep hitting. It's very important to micro the queens. Like you want to stutter step. If his Adepts just come forward anyways, no matter if you do this move with the Zerglings, you want to stutter step back with the queens to do as much damage as possible with the queens. You will walk away the drones. You go to the natural with the Zerglings. You should be fine either way. So yeah, I hope this helps. This is how to deal with the first 2 Adepts. I even have a sub-goal for a proper ZvP guide, even though I think that will take forever. So I think that video would be super long. But it's a sub-goal for 500 subs and also a standard ZvZ guide for 450 subs. So those are the next videos, the next up-and-coming videos, if I hit these sub-goals. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys on my Twitch stream.